After making his debut at the beginning of the spring split, Zen went on to claim 5 consecutive tournament wins, acquiring some of the esports' most prestigious awards in the span of 3 months. A willingness to sacrifice brought balance to the Vitality roster, and to show this level of maturity at only 16 years of age was thoroughly impressive. Equally as impressive was Zen's ability in the air, producing moments of magic on the world's biggest stages. The reason Zen was so prolific in the air was because of his impeccable car and ball control. The ability to maneuver his car in the ways he did made him an extremely dangerous on-ball player. Zen often utilized different parts of his car to set up his plays. He had a beautiful first touch, which was especially key with the amount of pre-jumps and early aerial challenges he had to deal with. Take this play for example, where Zen opts to use the underside of his car for this delicate touch to take the ball underneath rise. Zen was great at adjusting on the fly like this. Challenge him early and he'd take it over you for a triple tap, or if he felt the defense give him enough space, he'd nab himself a reset and punish you that way. This level of aerial versatility was immensely difficult to deal with. On this play, Alpha was able to connect the bump onto the last man, so Zen takes the ball low for a ground pinch. And it didn't even take a full split before Zen had manufactured his own trademark play, dribbling the ball to the ceiling to pinch it toward the backboard before tracking down the rebound for the double. His goal against Karmine Corp in Game 6 of the World Championship semi-finals is another staple in Rocket League history, leaping off the opposing team's back wall with a pre-flip to put it past the reach of the defense. Zen was also capable of making really tough doubles which forced defenses to respect him. That introduced opportunities to playmake for his teammates, but more on that later. Another component to his offense was his finishing. Zen's ability to find the corners of the goal consistently made it a nightmare for defenders, placing his shots in positions that were very awkward to save. He has to deal with an in and out save attempt on this one and slots it into the bottom corner, and he took advantage of bad defensive setups, opting for a slow bounce shot here because it's really awkward to reach when defending off the backboard. Zen could also peel off the corner to receive these drop down passes, firing this one from close range to get it past 3 defenders. He could be the one to distribute these passes, adding some disguise on this play. It looks like he's going to go up for a shot until a late air roll adjustment forces it down to his teammate. He was usually consistent at finding his teammates rotating out of corners, but misses Alpha on the far side here, instead choosing to keep the ball to himself. He was pretty good at finding his teammates in the offensive half. Space is opened up because of a demo in midfield, so he takes a wide turn to play the ball behind the defense and to his teammate. He was deadly on transition, Karmine are pushing out of defense and are expecting the ball to go towards the right, but Zen pulls a rabbit out the hat to find Alpha beautifully with the deftest of touches. Perhaps some of Zen's best playmakes derived from his aerial plays. Defenses respected his shot-making ability, which opened the door to involve his teammates. He could redirect his doubles back towards trailing teammates or fake them altogether like he does here. Defenses were unsuspecting because they'd focused their full attention on denying Zen, and that helped create great looks for his teammates. He playmakes with a flip reset this time, dropping the ball off to Alpha for an easy finish from close range. And on this one, Zen grabs himself a reset, but he moves ahead of the ball to zone Vatira, leaving Radosin with a clean sight at goal. Even though bumps and demos weren't his forte, Zen was really good at spotting opportunities to include them. He'd often invite his teammates along to some of his aerial plays, bumping Seiko out the way and leaving his teammate with a 50 on the goal line. And it's really quick thinking to deny Joyo a save here, sending him back to the ground after Radosin launches one from midfield. It's Radosin again to benefit off of Zen's last man bumps, but this time Zen's clearing out the entire backline. A key part of Vitality's success was their ability to maintain pressure in the offensive half. Zen was pivotal to that, holding the midfield line exceptionally well at times. During the Spring Major and World Championships, he ranked first in time spent in the midfield third per game, cutting off attacks and stalling time for his teammates to recover. His high-level read of the game helped him position early so he could playmake from these interceptions, finding his teammate here with a reset double off the ceiling. He was really good at covering for his teammates that rotate out deep. Zen pounces from the corner to cut off this play because Alpha rotated all the way back to collect boost. The timing on his jumps were extremely crucial, and what made him so dominant when he decided to go airborne for these challenges. This one on Karmine Corp in particular stood out, timing it beautifully to turn a contest into a game-winning double. Zen jumps just before the opposing player makes his first touch with the ball. The opening on this one is just before Cash is about to make contact with the ball because Zen knows he'll be slow to follow after his first touch. His approach coming off the backboard was similar too, leaping off just before the first touch to 50 away. His timing and card placement made it possible for him to not only target the ball in these situations, but also switch onto the attacker, which often led to free possessions for his team. His challenge game was just as good on the ground. He rolls his body here to where he wants the ball to go, and Alpha's crazy redirect against SSG was off a Zen 50, where Zen uses Hox's momentum against him, wave dashing backwards to create distance before sliding to the left to force the 50 towards the sidewall. He diversified his ground game by implementing fake challenges, which made him very difficult to read for opposing players. Zen was very boost efficient. He only ever used boost when it was necessary and was so good at maintaining speed. He's challenging and forcing and providing his teammates with options whilst pathing over pads. The boost counter never rises above 25 for the full 18-second duration, but Zen somehow finds himself in a position to score. On this one, Zen makes use of wall dashes to help him gain and maintain speed. He has 21 boost left over and manipulates the 50 off the corner and connects the demo on the last man for an easy finish. Defensively, Zen would often position at the front post, and that meant he could get to rebounds off the corner before his opponents. These in-goal rotations also helped him to attack the ball against aerial plays. He single jumps here and uses his flip to force the 50 out and away from goal. He was very alert defensively. On this play, he notices his teammate is vulnerable to a demo, and he not only rotates towards the goal, but anticipates the shot too. Zen was great at anticipating play, but he also knew when to let play unfold before reacting. He decelerates in front of his back wall here until he's certain the ball's going over his teammate. This was a great defensive sequence by Zen, showing great composure to not panic dive at the shot and then immediately flip to challenge on the wall. He doesn't rush on his way back, opting for a diagonal flip to maintain speed whilst also timing his arrival with the unfolding play. He pathed beautifully on this one too. There's no immediate danger, so it's a diagonal flip to start off this play, but as soon as he realizes his teammate's been beat to the ball, he speed flips and crucially paths over the 2 pads he needs to make the save. The wide approach he takes here means he can get to any shot the attacker decides to make, and it also allows him to follow the save to the corner. Zen was potent offensively, but he was just as imperative for Vitality's defense. After his induction to the roster at the start of the spring split, Vitality held teams to 1.42 goals per game, and during the World Championships in Germany, Zen and Vitality managed an even greater feat, conceding almost a goal a game during their entire run. With all that being said, Zen wasn't flawless. He was very nervy at times. This is overtime on his RLCS debut. He's rushing to get back here but doesn't slow down to play a potential rebound, and it ends up with the ball flying over him. Game 4 LAN matchups against Karmine Corp weren't the kindest to Zen either. He's bumped by Vatira on the goal line here, recovers but doesn't realize Radosin still has control of the ball and uses all his boost trying to get back, only for Radosin to make the clear, which leaves him awkward trying to deal with this ball on an empty tank, and it's 2-1 KC with a minute to play. At the beginning of his RLCS career, Zen was prone to bumps from behind, specifically when transitioning out of defense and playing as the third man. He's completely fixated on the on-ball action here, but even when he did anticipate bumps, his approach looked somewhat lazy, not flicking his camera here to time his single jump better and avoid the bump. This area of his game developed towards the end of the season. He matched up against Arsenal at the World Championships, and although he was the recipient of a series-high 9 demos across 5 games, he had definitely become more conscious of potential demos, turning off ball cam to keep himself alive and involved in play. Arguably, we haven't even touched on Zen's best quality. His coach Ferrer at the time described Zen as one of the most selfless players he's ever come across. Zen willingly avoided double commits even if he may have had a better approach to the ball, and he disrupted the recoveries of opposing players to buy his teammates time. He showed great maturity for a 16-year-old. Both him and Alpha push up here, but he unselfishly slots back to play as the third man. Having a teammate who was willing to sacrifice like this can be invaluable at times. He does the same here, shifting into reverse because Alpha gets bumped into the midfield. On this one, Radosin cuts back into the play and Zen just seamlessly drops back to play behind him. I liked his decision making on low boost plays too, where other players might have dived to the back corner right here. Zen turns back into the play on 10 boost to challenge for his teammate. Something to note here is that Zen likes to play with the ball cam on more frequently than others, not turning it off once to check for boost and enabling him to keep up with play much better. This play is just like the last one. He stays involved on low boost for the sake of his team, collecting pads along the way and turning to cover the midfield as Radosin picks up boost. In this sequence, both he and Radosin are low on boost, but play is unfolding much quicker behind, so Zen takes initiative, turning back around to challenge early. Plays like these show just how much he trusted his teammates and what made Zen a great teammate to have alongside. This stretch from Zen was incredible to witness. His aerial prowess was key to unlocking defenses, and he could suffocate teams with his ability to hold the midfield line. There were no major flaws in his game. He bounced back stronger when he showed any moments of nervousness, and he developed a greater spatial awareness for bumps and demos as the split progressed. Vitality averaged a 0.9 goal differential per game since he joined, which is a remarkable 0.75 higher than they achieved throughout the winter split, illustrating just how immense he was on both sides of the field. And paired with his selfless playstyle, Zen, in his brief 3-month stint in the RLCS, etched his name amongst Rocket League's all-time greats.